This is a brief introduction to my journals. So what I tried to do is wherever I go, especially if it's a dedicated trip and we're going to be in a place longer than a week, I'll dedicate the journal to that specific place. So you can see I have many journals here, and now I'll show you what's in some of those journals. Move them aside here, and I'll take some out for you to see. And here's one that's pretty complete. What happens sometimes is I'm so busy that I don't get them all completed. But what I do want to show you is I start every journal with a map. And here's one that's in a bigger journal. I play around sometimes with different sizes, but I tend to like this landscape size or this square size. And I'm favoring this lately. So I was using only these. Then I tried a big one, but I just want you to see the maps I do. So some are more detailed than others, and I show the path of the trip usually. So, and here's a book that I did complete a lot of it. Before I went to Spain, I visited a friend at her farm. That's what that is. And now I'm in Spain. So some of my books have collage also incorporated into them. And I'm just going to quickly flip through this so you can get a feel for. Now, some of my journals I write a lot more, and I'm always happy when I do years later and I read back, and it really brings more of the memory back of the place and what was happening right at that moment. But sometimes I just don't have the time, and so sometimes they just become illustrated. But it is really fun if I have some details in there. So this was the view out my window in an exchange. I was doing home exchanges at the time, which was quite awesome. And so here's some more collages, and I'm doing a drawing from that, and we had seen the real painting. Here we went to the Moreau Museum, and you weren't allowed to take any pictures, so it was great to be able to draw going through it. I had a little pad with me, so then I incorporated it into the book here. This in Barcelona, there's Gaudi, the famous mosaic architect, and so here are some of his buildings. And then on the beach, there's lots of art, so that's what that was. And so there you have that. Okay, let me run through a few others. Here were some old journals I came across, and I had a lot of writing, almost diary-like in here, but it's fabulous because this was almost 20 years ago, and it really, and also it's great when you tell the name of the place and where it is, so you can go back or recommend it to someone, so it becomes your resource. And I do pictures that are black and white or also in color. We were in search of hot springs, natural hot springs, so this was one. So here's a picture I did when I was in Mexico for a painting workshop, but it was an abstract painting workshop. But I went to the beach one day and I did this, which was really fun. And then I have these ideas of just some of my drawings I don't color in, and so I wouldn't mind working on a coloring book too at some point, or doing some downloads, some freebie downloads where I offer up the PDF of a outline for people to color and paint. So this journal is random stuff I do here at home, so things in the garden. Here's something, we have a grapevine, we have a mini vineyard, some flowers. So let's see what else I can show you. I want to show you some of my coral reef ones. I dive, and so Oh, this is China. Now China, I was really moving around, so not everything is finished in here. What I would like to do is, here's my map. What I'd like to do is go back and so I take pictures of whatever I paint, and then I can always go back and finish the drawing from home or from the hotel. I love doing food. So buildings. This was really funny. They call the crane the national bird in China because there's so much construction going on. I was teaching there, so I'll go over my writing here in ink, but this was what I was teaching for the week. So I kept a little record of it, and these are pictures from my actual class. And these are just different pictures. This was a view out my window. They were building a freeway that was the feel of it. It was crazy. Oh, we did a dance night with the kids. So this is the kids dancing. We went and had a tea ceremony. So just different images to give you a feel. Let's see. And then I want to show you, I started drawing in a book. Oh, yesterday. I've decided, okay, sheltering in place, and I want to go over a few things, and I'm getting requests to teach classes. So besides me developing my online classes, so here I'm playing with thumbnails, and then taking one of those thumbnails and making it bigger. I do use tape to get these nice clean edges. So I'm not finished with the larger drawing. It will be all in pencil. So I'm dealing with values and shading. I had started out with just doing the bird of paradise, which sat in the corner of this driveway that has these 3 palm trees. And I needed compositionally, I needed to put something there. But what I've decided is I'm going to go around my house, and this journal is going to be about the adventure just right here at home, what I can do. And fortunately, I live in an interesting place. I went into the garden, and I thought all the irises were done, but they weren't. And so I was able to draw some irises. And then I love taking a plant, leaves, something like that, hanging it over, and here you can see my hand. You can see the shadow of my hand laying down, and laying the shadow down and tracing the shadow. So that's what I have going here. And then I played a little bit where I painted and where I didn't color in design-wise, and turned it into this composition. I guess that's it. For this was yesterday, I was doing that. I'm going to do more. Let's see, the Maldives, New Zealand. Oh, I know there's some pretty, in the beginning of this, I went to visit a friend there after a tour, and she had a beautiful garden, and you could see through to a little pond. So some of my journals don't get finished, so I have the photographs, and I would love to finish them. That is my goal. So here's some other things that I want to finish. Let me show you if I can find my Australia one. Venice is good too. Where's Australia? Because we went to Australia and then to New Zealand, and I did a lot of. So here's the map, and it includes, and we went from Australia to New Zealand and then to the Solomon Islands. So I always show the path of the plane, or I like to. So these are drawings that I did when we started out in Melbourne, and then moved around I went to a museum that had some beautiful Aboriginal paintings. So this was me sort of making up my version of it. And food. I love doing food. So there was a botanical garden, and there were all these lotus plants that were just beautiful. Some kayaks going by, and a lot of contemporary buildings there that reflected in these wonderful ways. So that was me capturing that. And this was a graphic on the outside of a construction zone, but it was based on they blew up the train tickets, and it was so graphically wonderful. Then we went to Ayers Rock, and the dirt is very red, just like the rock. So here I did a pencil drawing, and here I did 2 drawings, but I love this little gem of one. And we watched the sunset because the rock changes color. And there's some petroglyphs or pictographs on one little area that we were in. There may be more, but we weren't there very long. So then we went to the rainforest, and so here I just zeroed in on a piece of something and drew that and left the rest black and white. Animals. I've since done paintings. I have a scarf that I created that I've made in India based on that. And then the coral reef, we actually got to, everybody but my partner Joe and I, we didn't expect to, but they said the day that everybody was going snorkeling, they said, does anybody want to go diving? So we did. So we actually dove the Great Barrier Reef, and we did 3 dives in the one day, and 2 were pretty good, and 2, the reef wasn't looking so great. But sadly, and then this was a view from my hotel room, and this is the Great Opera House. And walking around, we did a walking tour, a food walking tour, so that's that. And we actually took a private jet. It was really very wonderful. Oof. I didn't want to go back to commercial. These were their parliament buildings. We went to a botanical garden that was filled with roses, so I had to quickly sketch these roses. These were some more flowers that were there. So here I haven't finished. I want to go back and finish it. So, but this gives you a feel for what my journals are like. See, I need to go in and finish this. We had this beautiful lunch. Gosh, Australia and New Zealand. I think here we actually may have been in, we're in New Zealand here. And, the wineries and the food were divine. I haven't colored this, and my food needs to be colored. We went to a sheep farm, and so I drew it in the style of David Hockney. Henry Moore did scribble. He had a whole book, and I own it. And he scribbled his sheep. So when I went to the farm, I just had to do it in his hand, in his style. So I have to color because it's hard to read it just like this. So, one day my plan is to go back and finish these because I have photographs to work from. So, yes, and it'll be quite beautiful, I think, if I do. So that gives you a sampling of what my journals are like, and I'm going to be putting together an online class of how to create a travel journal. So just stay tuned, get on my mailing list, and this way you can find out more about any classes I'm going to be doing. Thank you.